Just 2 weeks after New York City Mayor Mamdani formed his Office of Community Safety. You feel safe in New York?
No, I don't.
I don't. If I feel roughly safe.
Outside the neighborhood, no, not at all.
Things are not looking too good for New York, which is experiencing types of crime nobody's ever seen before. All of it fueled by gangs and related violence flooding our streets, taking over entire parts of the city, turning them into lawless no-go zones. Even police are powerless to patrol. Yet, for some reason, none of our communist leaders have any plans to end this nightmare.
That's when a hooded man steps out of a white car. Theodore immediately puts his hands up, backing away as the car alarm blares.
The guy came and grabbed my phone from behind and ran.
So he stole your phone?
He stole my phone.
I almost got pushed inside the tracks. When the train was coming, I felt like I slightly pushed and I almost fell forward. That's the reason why I don't want to be in New York.
There are people on the streets that shouldn't be on the streets.
Though it has for years now been the city's intention to close the jail facility, Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso says there are steps the mayor can take right now to keep fewer people locked up.
We don't need to wait for the new jails to be built to move the elderly away from jail, to look for alternatives to incarceration.
Besides saying he had a gun, as you mentioned, that suspect refusing officers' commands to leave the bedroom where he was at after a minute and a half, telling them it's not going to happen.
Do you think the elected officials like Mayor Mamdani are doing a good job?
No, not really.
He said he was going to combat gun violence, and a lot of his critics were saying, well, you should combat gang violence.
Exactly, gang violence.
So, right on schedule, the powers that be are telling us New York is the safest city it could possibly be. Look at that. But what nobody's talking about is public safety in New York. It's another one of those issues the voters here say they've got a massive problem with, but won't stop voting to maintain. Just like our housing market disaster with rents that now top $5,000 a month because we don't have enough apartments. Yet the voters here are so concerned with taxing and punishing millionaires and confiscating homes from landlords that the idea of solving our housing crisis by letting someone who might have the millions needed to build more apartments never comes up. And public safety is the same thing. We voted for a mayor who said they want to offload the work police do that keeps everybody here safe to some public safety department. Yet at the exact same time, voters are telling us how dangerous the streets are and how there's gangs everywhere and how they need to be protected while their children are chased down the streets and parks are taken over by hooligans. Yet for some reason, the idea of building more jails and filling them up with the violent isn't something here people are at all interested in, as they keep putting politicians into office that want to empty our jails and shut them down in the name of justice. And that brings us to the real reason public safety here isn't just trending in the wrong direction, it's about to fall off a cliff. We're half a decade from the start of the defund police movement, which saw America's sanctuary cities handicap their police while opening their jails to release as many criminals and illegal fugitives as humanly possible, all in the name of fairness. A concept which makes no sense once you consider how unfair it is to the targets of these criminals to keep releasing them while these people have massive rap sheets in many cases. And you know what this does? This sends a message to every criminal and would-be criminal in town that there are no consequences for anything. And once criminals get that message, well, don't be surprised when your neighborhood turns into this.
Oh, why they running like that? Why they running like that? Why they running like that? What's going on? What's going on?
Right, at any moment in this city, something crazy could happen. It's happening all around us, but it doesn't get any coverage, and the statistics never show up because these people all get released. They never go to jail. They never get convicted. Nobody prosecutes them. Lowest crime rate ever, yet there's crime everywhere. Yet the people living here don't want to believe any of it.
It's just so comfortable, and to sit out and be able to say I'm in New York.
Dining Out NYC is back this weekend, and that means about 1,800 structures are now eligible to go up across the 5 boroughs, according to the DOT.
It's about getting fresh air, about getting sunshine, and in New York City, especially this close to Times Square, it's all about people watching.
Sidewalk cafes just like these are allowed all throughout the year, but starting April 1st, restaurants will be able to put tables and seats on the safe side of the roads.
Right? So as the weather warms up, People here aren't concerned about the crime waves heating up. Nope, they're concerned about things like outdoor dining. What could possibly go wrong? A bunch of rich New Yorkers eating food on the sidewalk. What could go wrong?
This video, one example, showing a group eating outside at a restaurant in Williamsburg late May. And police say the man circling the table there showed a gun and demanded their watches. They handed over 2 before the guy walked away, cops say, and hopped on a dirt bike. A couple of weeks later, outside Carbone in Manhattan, as a man was waiting for a table, police say 2 men walked up to him, demanded his $100,000 watch, took it, and drove off on a moped.
Right. That's going to keep happening. It is still happening, yet people living here can't really figure out why they feel unsafe.
You feel safe in New York?
No, I don't.
I don't.
If I feel roughly safe outside the neighborhood, no, not at all.
I personally feel safe here.
The guy came and grabbed my phone from behind and ran.
So he stole your phone?
He stole my phone.
There are people on the streets that shouldn't be on the streets.
A man with 131 prior arrests.
So if you have a city where somebody can get arrested 131 times and still be roaming the streets somehow, you're going to have problems. And we do. Yet locals here are upset that the mayor is not carrying out his public safety reforms, like getting rid of our gang database that the police use to find these criminals and closing jails and releasing criminals. They're upset this stuff hasn't happened yet. And while to some people the idea of less people in jail might sound good if those people have done something wrong and they're a danger to society, it's not good to have less people in jail because that means more dangerous people are going to be out on the streets.
Do you think the elected officials like Mayor Mamdani are doing a good job?
No, not really.
He said he was going to combat gun violence, and a lot of his critics were saying, well, you should combat gang violence.
Exactly. Gang violence.
Right. Of course the city should be focused on going after gangs and going after dangerous criminals, but that just doesn't seem to happen for some reason. It's almost as if we see dangerous criminals on our streets and we're the law enforcement apparatus of the city. We're supposed to do something about it, and we tell all those criminals, hey guys, get down, get down. We're looking for the root cause of crime. Get out of the way so we can find it. Yes, that's right. Our backwards policies that excuse the actions of the dangerous are what makes our streets so dangerous. These are policies that are forcing out the law-abiding while trying to recruit their children, and if their children won't join up in some gang, well, they get targeted. But if the mayor's not doing anything about crime, what is he doing?
And I know that in this moment, for many New Yorkers, that freedom feels out of reach. Whether it be freedom from a suffocating cost of living crisis, freedom from a rising tide of anti-Semitism, or freedom from the brutality of ICE.
Oh, so he's defending the fact that we're a city that likes to protect its criminals. If you're here without permission from the federal government, don't worry about it. New York City is on your side. This makes our city a magnet for people who are on the run, who are fugitives, who've broken the law, who may be involved in something very dangerous, raising the danger level. Every single New Yorker who's now going to try to eat outside on the sidewalk will soon start experiencing again. Meanwhile, if you're a normal person and you're just trying to go to work in the morning, look at what could surprise you in your driveway.
Surveillance video shows the car's owner, Theodore, rushing down the street, trying to stop someone from stealing his Toyota. That's when a hooded man steps out of a white car. Theodore immediately puts his hands up, backing away as the car alarm blares.
You know something? Thank God the car alarm went off there. It may have saved that individual from something much worse, but this is broad daylight. And this is New York. It's a packed city. This didn't happen in the middle of nowhere. There's cameras everywhere, yet none of the criminals seem to care. Why? Well, no consequences. This is what it does. Now, of course, a police siren also would have kept these criminals away and possibly arrested them. But with our shortage of police, they certainly can't be everywhere at once. And with a legal system that wants to set these people free as quickly as possible, what good's that gonna do? At the exact same time, what gives these criminals so much confidence that they're no longer operating at night? They're out in the day.
Seconds earlier, another suspect in a brown hoodie is seen climbing through the broken window of the car, trying to steal it.
Look at that.
This wasn't random. Video shows how it all started. The man in the brown hoodie first arrives in a different car, gets out, and smashes the Toyota's window before taking off.
It's
A
7:30
child
in the
walking
morning.
His dog watches, startled.
People are
Then,
taking out
just
the trash.
minutes later, a white car is seen.
This is so crazy.
Times before making a U-turn and parking right in front of the Toyota. The same man
Okay, I can explain why this is happening. If you're gonna let criminals get arrested 131 times and let them stay on the streets somehow, don't be surprised when they decide to do this for a living instead of reform their ways. We're basically teaching people that crime pays because there's no ultimate consequence for it. You will never lose your freedom in this city if you engage in a life of crime. And if you want to go out and break car windows and try to steal things from people, well, it looks like that might be a viable option. Of course, if we had jails and we would use them, this would not be a viable option because nobody wants to go to jail. That's why we're trying to shut them down. After all, nobody likes the idea of being locked up. But if we won't lock up our criminals, we're just radicalizing them instead of reforming them, which is fascinating because all these release programs and empty jail policies, they're all done in the name of justice, yet nobody gets any justice because the criminals don't get any consequences. And the sad thing is, if you're gonna radicalize your active criminals, word's gonna spread and it's gonna convince other people that, hey, maybe they should be criminals too, and that's the last thing you want. Meanwhile, experts have been warning for years that the New York City Police Department doesn't have the resources to deal with the crime we have right now, which is a big problem, especially if crime is gonna become a bigger problem.
Officer there as well.
Officer Malik Williams is a native New Yorker, but recently left a career with the NYPD for the Sunshine State.
So far, Orlando Police Department has been the best decision that I made so far.
And the police commissioner is eyes wide open as an exodus of experienced cops continues to plague the NYPD.
And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The NYPD is in a hiring crisis.
Wow, so our police are leaving and going to Florida along with residents who are sick of crime and sick of the unaffordability crisis here. So not only is lawlessness forcing out our residents and sending them south, it's doing the same thing to the cops. There's gonna be nobody left in New York except for the criminals. Look at this. The NYPD is experiencing a significant staffing crisis with head count falling towards 34,000 officers, which might seem like a lot. We've got a goal of hiring 35,000 officers. But look at this right here. It says that about 300 cops leave every single month. That means we're losing 10 cops a day. And these are cops who've gone through the academy. They're experienced. They've been out there. They've been paid. And we're not replacing them. Nobody wants to come here and do this. And that makes sense. I mean, if you can go to Florida and get paid the same as you can get paid here, and the criminal you arrest today doesn't get released before today ends, you're actually gonna make a difference in that community and help keep that community safe. No profession that seeks to make a difference and help people will exist if their work is erased immediately.
This is not a budget problem.
All the police unions in the city are sounding the alarm too.
I have just a little under 1,700 that could retire by the end of the year.
Scott Munro became president of the Detectives Union last summer. He's working day and night to keep that good old-fashioned shoe leather from walking out the door.
Counterterrorism used to have about 150 people in counterterrorism after 9/11. There's 12 detectives in counterterrorism right now.
Are things falling through the cracks?
Not yet, crazy. But the question is, do you wait till it does?
Now, what's crazy is this report came out before the Trump administration pulled some of the counterterrorism funding for New York City. They've only got 12 detectives. Now, yes, $187 million was cut for New York State, which was supposed to help the counterterrorism budget. Why was this happening? Well, the context is this was part of a larger dispute over federal funding for cities that are sanctuary cities. So if you're going to be a city that flouts the law and doesn't enforce the law, how can the federal government go to fund that? That's the argument here. At the same time, New York City doesn't have enough police in these departments anyways. So what's the point of the federal government, of all of America, dumping money into a police department the city itself is eradicating?
Every New Yorker deserves to be safe. And today I'm announcing a plan to deliver exactly that. Public safety is created by stable homes, good-paying work, and well-resourced neighborhoods. Addressing these issues are at the core of our campaign. But we must also aggressively pursue evidence-based strategies that prevent violence and crime before they occur. I will create a Department of Community Safety, the DCS. This new agency will coordinate a whole-of-government approach to protect New Yorkers like never before. We will invest in citywide mental health outreach and crisis response, expand gun violence prevention programs, address hate, and tackle homelessness.
Okay, so all of this sounds great, but it's all gonna get done without there being any actual consequence for crime. Also, it's hard to see how we're gonna tackle homelessness when the mayor himself has said recently that he doesn't want any more homeless encampment sweeps. So we're not going to go out there and offer a helping hand to people who are on the streets and don't know that they need a helping hand. So we're actually doing things while we've got this plan to address safety and help our communities, which does the exact opposite by, I guess, trying to be nice. At the same time, if people will not go to jail, if we will not aggressively prosecute criminals who are on camera doing something wrong, putting their own communities in danger, if we're gonna keep those people on the streets, those criminals, by virtue of their presence on the streets, are gonna erase whatever this community safety division tries to do.
The DCS will make public transit safer, placing dedicated outreach workers in our subway stations, transforming vacant commercial units to provide medical services and connections to long-term care, and investing in transit ambassadors who assist New Yorkers on their journeys.
So we already have programs like this. We already have teams of outreach workers who work at these nonprofits and get paid millions of dollars every single year to go into the subway and interact with people, but they aren't making a difference. Homelessness is not going down in New York City. We've got more homeless folks than ever who need help living on the streets or in the subways, but we're paying more than ever for outreach. So we're going to expand the homeless industrial complex, which just turns money over to nonprofits. And then at the same time, we're going to eventually at some point pursue the idea of putting treatment facilities in the subway itself. It's hard to see how this is going to have the effect on public safety and the effect on strong communities that the officials in charge of them say we're supposed to.
There will be visible, trained teams in our subways. Their presence and their work will make all of us safer. Police have a critical role to play, but right now we're relying on them to deal with the failures of our social safety net, which is preventing them from doing their actual jobs. It's one of the reasons so many crimes are left unresolved.
So part of the reason so many crimes are left unresolved is because we don't have enough police to resolve those crimes. And these criminals that commit these crimes, these aren't people who got out of bed yesterday and decided that they were going to commit crime. These are people who have 131 arrests. These are trained criminals with a long rap sheet and a lot of experience. If you're a criminal who's been arrested 131 times, you're going to have more experience committing crime than any police officer you're going to encounter is going to have experience stopping crime. So you're 10 steps ahead of law enforcement. You are extremely dangerous, and there's a very good chance people like that are committing crimes that never get solved because they're so good at it. Public safety here is a real nightmare. There's a reason people don't feel safe. If the real problem is the voters that don't feel safe want to vote for what sounds nice. They want to vote for a community safety department. They want to vote for less police doing police work and more people who aren't police trying to do the exact same thing, when those people will probably find themselves in danger when they encounter these criminals that have been arrested hundreds of times. What do you think about all this? Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.